Greetings again to everybody. It's my great joy to be connected to all of you in Valencia, Spain, and also those who are online. My name is Lothar Pirc. I'm founder and CEO of the Maharishi Ayurveda Health Center Bad Ems in Germany. And I'm also professor of practice at Dr. D.Y. Patil University Center for Online Learning in Pune, India. And also I'm director of the International Maharishi Ayurveda Foundation. And my topic today is reviving the ancient science of life for modern healthcare, a consciousness-based approach to disease, prevention, rejuvenation, and even collective health. So you will see here now a picture of the beautiful building where we are located in the very UNESCO heritage spa Bad Ems. We have in this beautiful building, which used to be the Emperor's Palace, we have the right area that you see here, rented from the government 34 years ago. And we are 70 staff members who give the treatments there. And we have treated more than 30,000 people from all over the world in the treatment. This is one of the one of the hotel rooms here. The clinic has earned more than 30 prestigious national and international awards. And this is a picture of our team here. Very dedicated people. And for those of you who don't know about Ayurveda yet, Ayurveda is the science of life coming from ancient Indian tradition. Ayush means life and Veda means science. And this is the picture of my teacher, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, who enlivened Ayurveda in its completeness, which was lost to some extent. And he worked together with the greatest experts from India. He organized many, many conferences. And we continue that tradition, the International Maharishi Ayurveda Foundation. We have been organizing 8 major conferences in the last year. The next one will be in the United States. The last one was in Pune in India. We had about 1,300 people participating in the previous conference, medical experts from India and all over the world. So it's really a perfect system of healthcare. It is most ancient and profound, and it's deeply encoded in the Vedas. And also Maharishi connected it with modern science. It is consciousness-based. I will explain later what that means. It's holistic, authentic, effective, and reliable, and free from harmful side effects. It is prevention-oriented, most cost-effective, capable of promoting individual and collective health. It's universally applicable in all cultures around the world, and it's easy to implement. Now, what are the goals of Ayurveda? First of all, prevention. Then the restoration of balance, cure, to promote longevity, and enlightenment means to unfold our full mental potential. And I believe of what I have seen, if it would be applied on a big scale, we think it's even possible to go into the direction of creating a disease-free society. Now, when we look how Ayurveda is defined, or good health is defined in the classical texts, like here from Sushruta, it says whose doshas are imbalanced. Doshas are these metabolic principles, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, whose appetite, Agni, is good, whose tissues function normally, whose malas are in balance, the excretions. And now comes something very important in the definition, whose self, mind, and senses remain full of bliss. Bliss means inner happiness. He is called a healthy person. And I just explained to you, we know from the unified field of modern physics, which is called in Vedic terms Sanghita, the wholeness of life, that there are 5 elements space, air, fire, water, and earth. And they give rise to Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And Vata is responsible for the channels of the bodies, the shrotas, and is taking care of the transportation, the movement, and the communication. Pitta is coming from the fire element mainly, and the digestive power, Agni, is responsible for metabolism, digestion, and all kinds of transformation. And finally, Kapha dosha is responsible for the tissues, for cohesion, structure, and all the water systems. And when they get out of balance, then diseases will appear. So we go a little bit into the properties of the doshas. So Vata is by its nature cold, it's light, it's quick, it's dry, it's rough, subtle, minute, it's moving, and it's leading the other doshas. Pitta is hot, warm, sharp, fluid, slightly oily, light, sour, and pungent. And Kapha finally is heavy, cold, cool, soft, unctuous, oily. It is sweet, it is stable and steady, it is slow, and sticky, glue-like. So in these doshas, when they get out of balance, then diseases gradually arise. Now there is something that is very unique in Ayurveda, and often I'm asked by the press, what is actually the uniqueness and the difference between Ayurveda and modern medicine? We know from the Ayurvedic perspective that chronic diseases, they are not coming suddenly, but they develop gradually in 6 stages. So first the doshas accumulate, then they get aggravated, then they start to disseminate before they localize, usually in the weakest point of the body, before they manifest and finally disrupt. Now, modern medicine, despite of all the wonderful achievements that we have and the technologies that we have, modern medicine is capable to detect diseases usually from stage number 4 or 5. And in Ayurveda, we have a means which is called Nadi Vigyan, pulse diagnosis, where we can, when we have the complete knowledge of pulse diagnosis, we can detect already the early stages of disease. And when we detect disease before they arise, they are naturally much more easy to treat. And so the treatment modalities are transcendental meditation to get very deep relaxation and the experience of inner unbounded bliss consciousness. Then we have Vedic vibration technology using the Vedic sounds. We have many different herbal medicines. Diet is a very important part in Ayurveda, especially for treating the early stages of imbalances, the diseases. They say in Ayurveda, if you have the proper diet, you will not need the herbs. And if you don't have the proper diet, the herbs cannot fully benefit. Then very important is the daily routine, which is called Dinacharya, and the seasonal routine Ritucharya, to go bed to early to bed, early to rise, and they have the main meal during the lunchtime. So these are parts of the daily routine. And Panchakarma is a very sophisticated purification therapy, which we have as the main treatment modality in my clinic here in Germany. Then yoga postures and breathing exercises, pranayama. We have some treatment where we work with the gem lights, aromatherapy, and then we have Jyotish and Yagya. It takes into account the influences from the environment. We have Vedic architecture, how to build houses so that they have health benefits for the people. Then we have a music therapy, Gandharva Veda, Vedic organic food, and even collective health through the group dynamics of consciousness, which I will explain later on this was just an overview. Now, the physiological approaches are mainly the Panchakarma treatment for the purification, which we offer in my clinic. And that has the purpose to purify the channels of the body, the shotas, so that the inner intelligence can flow to each cell in the physiology. So the inner intelligence can work when we are purified. And also to reestablish the connection between body and inner intelligence. And the inner intelligence is actually the source of our health. Now we have dozens of different massage types with different medicated oils or pastes. We can't go in all the details here, but our therapists are standardizedly trained all over the world. And the patients really love the treatments. They have every day 2-3 hours or even more of these different oil applications. And we have here some of the main treatments of Panchakarma, and they reduce Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And I will show you now a little film that you get an idea how the treatments are being done. They're done in complete silence. The ladies are always treated by ladies. The men are always treated by men. Usually 2 therapists have learned how to give the massages in complete synchrony. This is here a paste massage Udvatana, which is stimulating the metabolism. Abhyanga is a very beautiful, relaxing massage. And we have different types of this treatment for Vata, Pitta, and Kapha disturbances. And as I said, they are done in complete silence. The people really enjoy the treatment so much that 70% of our patients come by word of mouth. Here we have the Netra Tarpana treatment, which is taking out the impurities, mainly the pittas from the pitta from the eyes. It is done with ghee. Here we have Pindasveda, which is a pain treatment with a very special herbalized paste that is applied here. And we have wonderful results with treatments also here with Shirodhara, which gives a very deep relaxation, this flowing of sesame oil on the forehead. Just a moment. I just show you some of the scientific findings. It is known that we have 2 kinds of toxins. We have water-soluble toxins. They're easy to remove by exercising, by going to sauna, or by fasting. And then we have a second category of toxins, pesticides, herbicides, and heavy metals. And they have a half duration time of 25 years. They are stored within the fat tissues. And they're very difficult to remove. And in this study, there were about 50 people who did the Panchakarma program for 12 days. And the control group just had a change in the diet and some health education. They were eating organic food, vegetarian food. And as you see, after the study, the control group with the healthy diet and the health education, they had a reduction of only 1% of 10 different pesticides and herbicides, whereas the Panchakarma group had a reduction in average of these 10 pesticides and herbicides by 58%. So it's really significant. Then there are overall improvements in the general health, like well-being, energy, strength, appetite, sleep, usefulness. Negative aspects like depression, anger, fatigue, they are reduced after Panchakarma. This study was done by Dr. Walschitz in the University of Freiburg in Germany. And they had about 82 people who did Panchakarma. And they were measuring the harmful cholesterol. And there was an average reduction after the treatment by about 10.5%, which means the risk factor for getting a heart attack is reduced by 21%. Even the free radicals, the aggressive oxygens radicals, they are reduced significantly, very difficult to take care of. Then there is a reduction in the biological age by panchakarma, and also when people practice the transcendental meditation, it's even more significant. And the overall areas of benefits are autonomic nervous disorders we can treat successfully, gynecological disorders, cardiovascular disorders, problems in the digestive tract, metabolic disorders, joint problems, respiratory diseases, allergies, skin diseases, and neurological diseases are benefiting from these treatments. And we have seen that treating Western patients, in Europe, they normally visit the doctor when they already have an acute health problem, whereas people who come to see the Ayurvedic physician, their situation has become already chronic. And the Western people, they need a lot of education. So we have lectures every night, and we have cooking classes, yoga classes. They can learn the meditation, and we spend a lot of time. We have an initial diagnosis of about 1 hour, and then they can see the doctor every day for 10-15 minutes. And before they go home, they have another 45 minutes where they get advices what to do at home to adjust their lifestyle. And now I make a big jump. We know from quantum physics that there is an underlying field which is called unified field, which is giving rise to the entire autonomy. When we see, for example, our organism is based on the different organs, heart, lung, liver, etc. We're going now in deeper layers of creation. They are based on the tissues, and deeper we find the cells, the cellular components, the biochemical pathways, the proteins, RNA and DNA. And DNA contains the entire genetic information of the body. And more basic than this are the laws of chemistry and physics. And quantum physics has discovered that there is one field, which is called the field of pure intelligence, at a level of 10 to the minus 33 centimeters or 10 to the minus 43 seconds, from where the whole universe is coordinated. And for the ancient yoga techniques like transcendental meditation, we see here on the left side, our human mind is capable of experiencing the source of thinking process, the source of pure intelligence. And we have seen from many scientific studies that this has tremendous benefits. Here we see a graphics how modern physics sees the unified field as the basis of the electromagnetic, the weak and strong interaction, and the gravitational fields. And with transcendental meditation, we can really experience this field. And there are many benefits from that. There are about 700 studies. They have been funded and conducted, many by the National Institutes of Health, that show increased lifespan, reduced risk factor for hypertension, diabetes, obesity, reduced blood pressure, reduced heart failure, improved brain functioning. And they have been done by dozens, actually more than 200 independent universities around the world. And they have been collected, these 700 studies in the collected papers. There are websites where you can actually see what research has been done for which health issues where transcendental meditation is benefiting. I just give you a few examples of those studies. This study was done by the biggest health insurance company in the United States, Blue Shield Blue Cross. They have 500,000 members, out of which 2,000 are practicing transcendental meditation. And they were comparing all the different disease categories And they found that the heart diseases went down by 87%, tumors by 56%, and nervous disorders even by 94%. This is a study on medical costs for older people in Canada. And you see here, they had taken the data for 9 years. Every year, the costs were increasing. And then there were 159 people who practiced transcendental meditation. They learned it after being offered for the study from the health insurance. And then you see here how the costs go down when the people practice transcendental meditation, whereas the control group, the costs were still rising. There are several health insurance studies. This study shows the level of relaxation. It's a meta-analysis compared to other forms of relaxation. You see here that the stress hormones go down, the respiration rate goes down, and the skin resistance goes up much more than in other forms of meditation. This is also a meta-analysis that shows the increasement of fear. Many problems today are stress-related problems, and the most powerful technique is to reduce the stress by giving deep relaxation. And in this meta-analysis of 146 studies, it shows very clearly in the blue bar that all the different stress factors are reduced much more than in other forms of meditation like biofeedback or progressive muscle relaxation and so on. This study was funded by the National Institute of Health in the United States of America. They gave a grant of $5 million to the American Heart Association. And they were taking here in this study the most difficult patients to treat, Afro-Americans above 50 who had been suffering for more than 15 years with hypertension. And they were offering a combination of diet and exercise. Progressive muscle relaxation and transcendental meditation was 7 times more effective than the diet group and lifestyle group, and 4 times more effective than the progressive muscle relaxation. As a result of that, the American Heart Association has officially endorsed and said that transcendental meditation is the only meditation technique that has proven significantly to reduce high blood pressure, and they have recommended the physicians in America to use transcendental meditation to fight the high blood pressure, which is the killing factor #1 in the world. This study here that I just go back to was done over a period of 9 years. It was done with people who already had severe heart diseases. They have either had bypasses or they had stents. And they were seeing in this study over 9 years that the people who practice transcendental meditation, the new incidences of these interventions were reduced by 50%. Also, they found that most of the controls had died after the period of the study, whereas the TM practitioners were still all alive. This study here shows the reversal of, or the slowing down of the aging process. There are certain factors that all go bad as we age, like blood pressure goes up or the cholesterol rises, reaction time rises, the memory goes down, just to take a few examples, more chronic diseases. And all these factors, they get better when people practice twice a day for 15-20 minutes transcendental meditation. The overall finding is that people who practice TM up to 5 years, the average age was 40 years. Their biological age is reduced by 5 years, and the long-term meditators even by 12 years. Now, this is a very new study that I'm going to present to you. It was conducted during the COVID time in the United States of America. Participating in the study were 100 hospitals, and they introduced, because it was so stressful for the doctors and the nurses to keep the hospitals running during COVID. And so 100 hospitals participated and 8 formal studies were done at the different hospitals that are listed here. And they found that the emotional exhaustions like burnout were significantly improved. They found that anxiety with the nurses and doctors improved. Their sleep got better in comparison to the control group. Signs of burnout were significantly reduced. And in the Birmingham and Women's Hospital study, there was a compliance of 90%. 85% liked it so much that they also practiced at home. 93% recommended to their friends. So many, many wonderful experiences. This is a study from another hospital here. They found also, compared to the control group, you see here the blue line, that the anxiety was reduced and PTSD symptoms were also significantly reduced. Georgetown Medical University students benefited, and the last one, this is just a small selection of the results from the famous Mayo Clinic. You see here how burnout, emotional exhaustion, anxiety, depression, and insomnia were benefiting from those who participated in the program. So there are 7 studies with 421 subjects, and the conclusion was finding support, TM, as a promising, safe and effective intervention for reducing burnout and improving mental health among healthcare providers. And I will show you now a little film with testimonies.
Of meditation. My meditation mentor, Bob Roth, explains why it's a valuable tool to have in your survival kit.
The mind settles down and the brain wakes up. Your body gains a state of rest deeper than sleep. It improves serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter for happiness. So it really reboots the system.
TM is used widely in VA hospitals because it helps veterans heal from trauma. And now this new program is going to bring meditation to the medical heroes who are in a real life and death battle.
There's no words to express the level of anxiety you feel in the actual workplace.
It felt like a war zone. I was exhausted, more so than I could ever remember being exhausted.
The amount of sadness, overwhelm, fear, loneliness that all the staff experienced was like nothing that any of us had ever encountered before.
I think on so many different levels, it's been an extremely stressful time for healthcare providers.
The professional healthcare is one of the highest with depression, suicide.
We got the news that a doctor at the hospital had taken his own life. That happened over the weekend, and when I went in on a Monday, you could just really feel it and see it on people's faces that everybody was affected by that.
As time went on, in the fall, we got an amazing invitation from the David Lynch Foundation to accept their offer of the program Healed Healer.
It just keeps me going, and I am able to maintain inner joy that I don't know where it comes from.
I crave TM to the point where after a long, hard day, it becomes this respite from the thoughts and the emotions that I've experienced through that day.
It's helping me manage my feelings, my emotion, my productivity, my effectiveness.
It feels like it's this extra shield that I have on. I feel stronger.
Every time you meditate, you have this opportunity to be at calm and at peace. You have this ability to emerge from that experience with a clarity and with a focus that you may not have had before. And that carries throughout the day.
I would love to share with you some of the initial data on healing healers. Our research has shown a significant 60% reduction in the insomnia severity index, a reduction in emotional exhaustion and burnout. This included a 65% reduction in anxiety and almost a 40% improvement in the mental well-being. And even though the data is not complete, the initial data is incredibly exciting.
I am yet to see any other program out there that's so effective and yet so simple.
TM for me has been life-changing, life-altering.
It's an amazing program and has benefited so many of us.
I love TM.
I think this was very inspiring, and transcendental meditation is effortlessly and natural. The mind settles down naturally and spontaneously. And the mind transcends to experience pure consciousness, a natural state of inner wakefulness and deep rest. Now we also have very good results, which is a very important approach, are the herbal supplements that we are using in Ayurveda. And there are hundreds of studies, if not thousands, and the Ayush Ministry of the Government of India, the Ministry for Ayurveda and Yoga and Natural Therapies, they have websites where you can really search for all chronic diseases. This study here was done with Maharishi Ayurveda preparation called Amrit Kalash. There were, I think, about 50 ladies who were going through the chemotherapy, treating the breast cancer. It was done by the All Asia Science Institute. It was a controlled double-blind study. They had a placebo, so the patients and the doctors didn't know who has the real stuff and who has the placebo. And they were measuring the side effects in 22 categories. And they showed here in the case of vomiting, the 6 cycles of the chemotherapy, that the side effects went down by about 50%. And very important for Ayurvedic herbs from India is that they have to be tested and safe. This is very important. And Maharishi Ayurveda as a brand is leading in that and has many certificates that are very important. So each product that is entered has a batch number with the laboratory analysis of the product. So in that way, we can assure the safeness of the products. I could give you some simple advices that you can implement for yourself for the intake of food. First, eat in a pleasant, silent surrounding while eating. Be seated. Eat what suits you and what agrees with you. Start with a moment of silence, maybe a little prayer. Close your eyes. Chew and salivate well. Watch your hunger. Don't eat too much. You can sip hot water, that is good for purification, but not half an hour. You can sip hot water during the day, boiled water, and then like a tea, but you shouldn't take water half an hour before meal or 1.5 hours after meal. Then it is recommended to avoid meals in between as much as possible. Breakfast should be light, depending on your dosha dominance. And lunch should be the main meal, and the dinner should be early and easy digestible. What have we achieved so far? In Germany, Ayurveda has been presented by the Hufeland Society, which is a doctors' association for the doctors of natural medicine. And they have worked out numbers which gives the basis for covering by the health insurance. But only some of the private insurance cover in Germany, not the mandatory insurances. And in the German-speaking countries, we were the first in Bad Ems to start in a hotel. There are now 1,200 facilities in the German-speaking countries. And in Switzerland, 2014, we received formal state recognition of 2 professions, the Ayurveda Neuropath and the Ayurveda therapists. And we have also Maharishi University of Management, which offers bachelor and master degrees in science, in Maharishi Vedic science, and Master of Science in Maharishi Ayurveda and Integrative Medicine. There are currently about 700 students enrolled in that program. Then we have dual degree programs with Integrative Medicine, and we are working from the Maharishi College of Perfect Health with the Slovenia Maribor University, and also in Mauritius, there are master programs which are recognized outside India. So for the future in the Western countries, in spite of the increasing popularity and the good treatment results, Ayurveda unfortunately is not generally recognized or reimbursed by health insurances. So we need more scientific studies that have to be conducted in European universities and especially in areas where modern medicine in the chronic diseases has no or little effect of really curing the disease. And the profession of Ayurveda medical specialists we aim for has to be established and recognized. Now I come to another area that is taking into account a healthy architecture. This ancient science was also enlivened and brought to the world in a big way by my teacher Maharishi Mahesh Yogi in the Maharishi universities around the world. And we know that buildings have an effect of the people who live in the building. So the building should be directed 100% to the natural directions, north, south, east, and west, because there is an electromagnetic field covering the earth, which is called the Hartmann grid. And if the buildings are aligned, it has a very good effect. And there are only two entrances which are really good. And that is the facing east entrance, because the first rays of the rising sun have a very positive influence of affluence and fulfillment. And also auspicious is the north influence of the northern direction, which brings clarity and prosperity. And just to give you some example, south entrances have a negative influence, problems and suffering. West entrances have an influence of poverty and lack of creativity. And there are some very interesting studies. If you go to our websites, you will see. We can explain this, that we have in our thalamus certain electrons that are firing constantly towards the east that help us to orient. And then I now come to the last area of my presentation today, that is taking care of the public health, the distant environment. Ayurveda and yoga are closely connected to each other. And we know when there are a lot of people stressful, like we have now wars in different parts of the world, then this has a very bad effect for the health of the people. And in the Ayurvedic text, it says in Charaka Samhita, stress in society leads to disease in the individual and epidemics. And therefore, the reduction of social stress is necessary for complete health. And we have found that in cities where 1% of the population are practicing transcendental meditation, the crime rate is going down. And if the advanced programs, the TM City program, is practiced in big groups, even the square root of 1% of the population has a positive effect to reduce crime and terrorism in the environment. This was an experiment done in the United States in 1993, where 4,000 experts gathered. And here you see, as the number of the group was rising in the green bar, the violence was going down. I would need more time to explain this, but I just wanted to alert you, and I would like you to go to the websites. I will give you the website things later. This is a very big study that was conducted over 16 years. And in the blue line, you see the number of a group that was focusing on creating this coherence for the United States of America by practicing this very pleasant technologies of consciousness. And when the group was rising, all the negative values in America, like murder, rape, assault, robbery, infant mortality, truck deaths, vehicle accidents, and children deaths, they all went down. And when the group had to be dissolved because it couldn't be maintained financially, all these negative values started to rise again. And we are trying now in India to build up big groups, several groups of 10,000 experts, like here in the Brahmastan of India, who practice yoga and yagya to create these effects in the world. And finally, if somebody of you would be interested to open an Ayurveda clinic, I have a consulting company that can help you, that you don't have to learn from mistakes. So project development, feasibility calculation, ongoing management consulting, I can help you with all these areas if you contact me. Then I have written a book about my life with the great saint of our time, Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And this gives a wonderful example how Maharishi worked and enlivened the Vedic knowledge throughout the world. It's been published in English and Russian and German, and the Spanish version will come out very soon. And here finally I have some websites. Maybe you'd like to take a picture, a screenshot. IMAVF is the International Maharishi Ayurveda Professional Organization. Then my clinic in Germany. Then all the research about TM, Transcendental Meditation, tm.org. And then about the program Heal the Healers, which I presented, healthehealers.org. And my personal website is also here. Thank you so much for attending and listening all the time. And I will now stop sharing my screen, and I will be very happy to answer any questions that you may have.